Don't turn your back like a turn of a card. Together with your classmates in the courtyard.
Hello, my precious students, and welcome to New Obsidian Duel Academy. I am the headmistress, Lady Sarisa. Have you ever felt like the formats aren't creative anymore? Is there an empty void of belief where creative deck building has been sent off to the Shadow Realm? Today, we'll be diving deep into the shadows and see if we can't pull creativity out of our butts. Let's see if it's truly dead or just deeply overlooked due to more effective deck options known as the meta. Let's take a look at the meta, just one example. If you want to follow along, then I suggest looking up your own current meta if you're watching this video in the future. Assuming the trend continues on that far, then we can see each deck that comes out and fits into the meta. They're typically made more as cookie cutter decks. What do I mean by that? Cookie cutter decks are basic core with very little room of changes so that just about anyone can pick them up and play. This is one reason so many people would prefer to pick up those decks. Because they're easier to put together, there's not a lot of thinking involved as opposed to deck building the deck themselves. The other obvious reason, as they're usually also the most effective strategy to use in those formats. Does this mean creative deck building is now dead? Well, there's another part to look at. While it's very hard to see sometimes because of overshadowing board breakers, ban list changes, and how the meta just dominates in presence throughout any format. One thing to remember is that rogue decks or for fun decks do exist in all those formats. In order for such decks to compete, they're constantly changing. Many of them have to look at more creative ways in order to keep up in pace. Sure, some may have to throw on board breakers or hand traps, maybe in a couple of floodgates to keep up, but majority of the time, there has to be rhyme and reason for those cards as well. However, it's more the card combinations having to be combined with both new and old cards that makes all the difference. What I think is a great example of this could be my very own and currently favorite deck, Windwitch Invoked Dragonity. Not something you'd usually hear combined. It is in my own personal belief that creative deck building isn't entirely dead. At least, not yet. It's still certainly looking to be on that path unless we start encouraging more deck building in a more creative fashion. However, how new support and feature archetypes being released will continue to make that more and more difficult. If you feel like this video helped change your outlook or have something yourself you'd like to share, be sure to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, class dismissed.